All right. I believe we are live. And with my persnickety, I'm going to confirm. So let's see. Perfect. Okay. Well, it'll do what it's doing. So hopefully we're live. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see us. I am just confirming that it is working on my end, but I don't get a confirmation there. So Sheila, if you want to check into it, that would be great. Either way, oh, there's the notification. Why isn't it showing up? Okay, we'll just leave it. Hopefully I can get a good sense of it. So Sheila, you may have to monitor if there are any questions I can't see. So welcome. This is Denai Navoa coming from Ontario, Canada, in the beautiful country. I wanted to have a discussion with some wonderful women about channeling. These are fantastic women who just happened to have taken my mentorship program that I held in the spring. And they love talking about how they've expanded and grown in their channeling abilities. And I wanted to give them an opportunity to share their exciting growth and journey with you. So we'll take an opportunity to introduce each of them. But to let you know about me first, my name is Denai Navoa. I am an intuitive coach and channel. I have been channeling professionally for a number of years. And now I am teaching about it, although from my perspective, it is helping you remember that you are already a channel, and it's coming back into remembering those gifts and creating a connection with yourself and your own inner wisdom. That's my goal. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to start with Connie. Connie, if you want to take a moment and just introduce yourself briefly.
Sure. My name is Connie. I just took Denai's class, as she said earlier, this one. I did not believe that there was any way, shape, or form that I was a channel. I love listening to them, but I did not believe that I could actually do it. And it wasn't that I wanted to do it professionally, because I am an accountant by trade, so far from channeling, but I wanted a connection with myself. And that's what I found. So I would
Beautiful.
highly, yes, it was really
Yeah.
cool. So yeah,
Awesome. And you're located in the US, yes?
I am. Yes, Tennessee.
Perfect. All right, let's go to Danielle next.
Hello. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. So yes, I'm Danielle, and following along in the footsteps of Connie, where I always admired people who could channel, always thought, wow, wouldn't that be groovy? But I couldn't. And then Denai comes into my life, and she offers up these phenomenal courses, and life-changing and extraordinary and fun, and a connection with source energy and my higher self, and with information that I had only barely even dreamed of being able to allow. And it has helped me in every aspect of my life, whether it's connecting with opportunities or situations in my life that I want some more information on. It's just been absolutely extraordinary. And as Connie was saying too, can't recommend Denai and her course strongly enough. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And then the connections within the group are extraordinary. Delicious. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Joyce, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Joyce. I'm in Maryland, in the US. And a year ago, I knew about channeling, like Abraham Hicks channeling, and that was pretty much about it. I had no idea that I could be a channel, or that there were even as many channels out there as there are. Um, and it has been phenomenal, because I took the course just wanting to reconnect stronger to my higher self to source energy directly. And that is exactly what I got and more, because I really feel like I've connected so deeply. I'm channeling all the time for myself, for others, loving it, can't get enough of it, and can't recommend this course highly. It's phenomenal. And there goes my dog. He's chiming in. Yes. Sorry.
Thanks so much, Joyce. That's all good. Your pup had something to say. Sheila, how about you go next?
Sure. Hi, my name is Sheila Williams, and I'm in Alberta, Canada. And I actually met Denai through a different channeling course that I took that I had never really considered channeling, but I love listening to channels. And so when I saw that course, I thought, okay, maybe I would get more information. It was a really, really large course, a lot of people. And honestly, I learned a lot about tuning in a bit and more about automatic writing, but not so much about the channeling because it just felt so big. I never spoke up in any of the calls or anything like that. And so Denai and I became friends after that. When she started doing her course, she actually asked me to be a moderator just to help, with the Zoom component so that she could concentrate more on the people in the course. And then the last time she said, no, you're not working this time, you get to be a participant. And so that has been amazing just to watch the progression of the courses and how she's evolved the formatting and the connections and how to allow people to find relationships with each other and also with themselves. And so I'm actually an intuitive coach. So now that I feel much more confident about it for myself, of course, I can do that tuning in regularly and consistently with the clients in front of me. I don't necessarily tell them that that's what I'm doing, but it feels really good to have that more objective perspective and be able to offer that for them. So I think that is a huge value for everything that I do. And then for myself, of course, too, it's whenever we get twirled up in a story, if we give ourselves that chance to separate from that and connect with more that source truth, it almost gets to be laughable where we were going down that path of our thoughts of, oh, actually, yeah, you're right. That is kind of silly where I was because it feels so much more clear and true and connected with love when we give ourselves that opportunity. So yeah, the way the courses have evolved to this last one was, I think, pure magic. And I'm really excited to see, as Denai offers another round, how it's going to continue to build and grow. So yeah, super fun to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, Sheila's been pivotal in helping me navigate the structure of the course and my own sort of growth as offering teaching around channeling. And I've learned that one of the best things through channeling is immersion. So this mentorship program is immersive by all means. So thank you, Sheila, for your support on all these calls and courses that you've been on. Natasha.
Yeah, so my name's Natasha, and I'm a practitioner in energy medicine, and understood that I was working intuitively with energy, but didn't realize that I was channeling. And I had been listening to channeled messages for the last like 6 years or so, and loved the wisdom I had been receiving and was always kind of searching for wisdom and always thought that I had to get it from outside of me, from other people, and didn't realize I could get it from inside of me. And so I was curious about channeling and thought, hey, maybe I could channel for myself. Maybe I can get some wisdom for myself. And definitely discovered that I can do that and more, and had so much fun playing with channeling. Like I didn't realize like you could play with it. Like it's fun. And I remember through the course, like I remember having this like addicted feeling, like I'm addicted to channeling, like I can't get enough, right? And it was fun and playful, and it continues to be so. And one thing that I didn't realize about channeling was that it was going to open up a deep love for myself. So it has opened up a love for myself that I hadn't experienced before. You know, people talk about, oh, love yourself more, self-love. And I didn't really get it until I experienced this course.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thanks so much for that. Before we continue on with the discussion around channeling in each of your journeys, I just wanted to chime in and say hello to Francis Mary, and I see Sheila's also in the chat, so that's helpful. And everybody else that's tuning in, thank you so much. I keep looking over there. Thank you so much for being here. The YouTube is over here, and I've got all sorts of things around me to keep focused, and clearly it's not helping. So one of the things I wanted to share was about my journey in channeling is I grew up with spirituality, and I actually was blessed to have a spiritual mentor really close connected to the family. And she taught us all sorts of things while I was growing up. And I was convinced that, you know, everybody got a superpower, but they had to reach a certain level to get that superpower. And I was thinking to myself, what's my superpower going to be? And I was hoping for telekinesis. So I spent many a times trying to move pencils and draw things to me. And I thought that would be super cool. It wasn't telekinesis. It was amongst the clairs, which telekinesis can be amongst the clairs. But amongst the clairs, for those who are familiar, this is something that I expand on in the course. Clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizant. A little bit of clairvoyance that continues to evolve. But it's really special for me to see when I look back just how the evolution occurred even before I was aware. And that's my experience coming across other people, is they have no idea how long they have been channeling. And I want to make it very, very clear that to learn to channel is to remember that you already are. You just notice it. And then when you remember that you're doing something, you dive deeper into this knowing and this skill. Loving yourself. This course, the mentorship program, any course I offer, any one-to-one sessions are all going to be geared around love and remembering that you are worthy of love. This is it. Love is everything. So as I journeyed along, I realized that I started to get sort of messaging, especially when I was in high school, and I would see predictive events. And then I would just disregard them because I moved into academia and I focused on getting my PhD. And then after that experience, life propelled me in a way that I was not always willing, but propelled me to explore channeling more. And I got into it and, you know, started with spontaneous channeling and all sorts of things. So I draw through channeling, I write, I verbal, I do energy healing. Channeling, you can do all sorts of ways. And I find that even in the most unexpected ways, you will get tuned into your gifts. Everybody here verbal channels, but verbal channel is not like the ultimate. I think any sort of channeling is a beautiful gift, and I actually rely on other channeling forms for myself, not verbal. Verbal I'll do for other people, but I don't typically verbal channel for myself. So that's a little bit about my journey. I want to get a sense of, prior to everybody exploring channeling more, whether it was in my course or just as you were developing, what sort of hesitations or resistance or nervousness did you have about diving in to this experience with channeling and this mentorship program? And feel free to just chime in whenever it feels right.
Yeah, deny for myself, it was absolutely, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. This isn't made for me. Only special people can do this. Turns out I'm one of the special people.
100%.
And yeah, and it knocked my socks off when it's like, wow, this stuff's work. This I can do this. And I have worked with everyone on this call, and it's so scrumptious to discover that you can do this. And as Denai has said, it is a remembering. And Denai's courses are geared towards that just remember, and we interact so much with all the participants. And so for me, it was like, yeah, there's no way I can do this. And then it's like, oh, I'm so awesome.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and I knew from the get-go that you were channeling before you realized you were channeling, because you're definitely one who's very skilled in the realm of imagination. So I love that.
Thank you.
Joyce.
Well, I agree with Danielle. You know, this is for channeling was for everyone else. Well, not even for everyone else. It was for the very, very special people, you know, like Esther Hicks and, you know, those types. Um, and I never told anyone this, but I almost dropped out of Denai's course during the first week because I was feeling so overwhelmed and so nervous and so scared. I can't do this. And when she, you know, told us we're going to be channeling for everyone, you know, that's part of the deal, you know, I was really overwhelmed, but I didn't. And I'm so glad because the people I met in the course, of course, are fantastic. And it's like everybody supports one another, cheers one another on, and it's really progressive. You know, like at first your channeling might it feels awkward, and you might feel like, oh, this is just so you know, we love you, we love you, we love you. That's it, you know. But progressively, it gets deeper and deeper and more profound, and your confidence level just goes through the roof, you know. So, yeah, it's been fantastic on so many levels. My confidence level throughout my entire life has changed, and it's really awesome.
That's amazing. And I love that you shared that story about thinking about quitting, because I didn't know that. I knew as soon as I had mentioned in the course that this is going to be immersive and that everybody's going to, and I'm part of it. Like I take part in the channeling exchange. You all didn't channel for just each other. I hopped in, you channeled for me, I channeled for you. I wanted this to be a community where we got together and shared our gifts, because the practice is so important. Connecting and practicing is so important. And I know, Joyce, in our previous conversations, it kind of surprised me that you took my channeling course, because you took two of them, which was very entertaining for me. But you had said, I don't even want a verbal channel. I don't care about verbal channeling. I just want to connect. And I laughed because now your favorite thing to do is verbal channel and to do it as often as possible.
Yeah, I do it several times a week for several different people. And I do the automatic writing almost every day for myself. And yeah, I can't get enough of it. It's just,
That's
you know,
amazing.
connection to source is like, how much better can you get? You know, there is nothing more, you know?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's all within. That's so beautiful. I love your story, Joyce. So I'm so happy you're here to share it. Connie.
Yeah. I was taught through my religion when I was younger that um we couldn't have our own connection. We had to go through someone else. So as much as I've released a lot of those beliefs, I think it was still in the back of my head going, basically, who do you think you are? That you think you can have your own connection to God, to source directly to you? Come on, you know, that's through these different things. And so I went in going, yeah, you said everybody, but I don't think she meant me. Like, you know, somehow when like I'm the exception to that rule. And somewhere through the thing I got in one of my channelings that I did for myself is you are indeed special, but you are not special enough to be the exception to the rule that you are right. Everyone can connect us. Everyone has that. Yes, including you. So that was very big for me because I really didn't think that I was going to fall in that category. Because I didn't think it was possible. I was told that, but it helped not only me release that story, but a lot of other ones. And I know I told you at first, I said it's not working. All I get is it's love, it's love, it's love. You know, you're loved and this. And then I was like, why don't it? And you and your channel helped me realize that that's the first part of it. You have to. We want to fill you up so much with love and love for yourself, and as you know, so many of the other ones said, that's what came first was all the love that is for you and how special you are. And that was, I wouldn't say hard, but almost like uncomfortable because you were supposed to love other people. I was not taught to love myself first. And so that was very new for me, a new concept that you could even love yourself that much. But as Joyce said, once I got that part, and it did start filling me up with love and the messages went deeper. It wasn't just channeling that it gave me the confidence. It was in everything because if you really love yourself, I always say I was looking for love, obviously in the wrong places before, going out and trying to find it in the world. And so when I didn't find it, I was personally hurt. And now I kind of find like I'm taking my love with me. So if somebody else doesn't see it on that day, that's okay. I love myself and that's enough now. So that is a huge life changing experience for me, to be able to honestly say that I do love myself and it doesn't really matter. Not that it doesn't hurt sometimes when it's like, oh, ouch, that was kind of mean, but it would shake me for days before when I would go out and somebody would say something that I thought was mean or something to me, because I was looking for them, for the love, for the approval. And now it's kind of like, wow, they're having a bad day. You know, they're not saying who they are, but it's not about me because I have my own love. And it's like, oh, they don't have to love me. I do. So that's enough. So that was really big for me. Long way of saying that.
Yeah,
That was really big for me.
that's well, I mean, you were in flow. So it's beautiful to see just how the common theme there is that everybody thinks that you need to be special. And the truth is you need to be special to channel, but you are special. Everyone is special. So
Yes,
that
we are
is
not.
why.
Yes, and we are
Yeah.
not. No one is an exception to that. No one. Yes,
Yes.
that's what I got.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get that. It's like, oh, but
And
you
that
don't know
message
me.
is beautiful. Yes.
Yes,
And that, like, some of the more simplistic messages are the most profound and beautiful. So I love that.
absolutely.
Natasha, what was your sort of reservations around channeling before you started?
Yeah, I think that, so many people when they're trying something new, they doubt like, oh, can I do this for myself? And like while in channel, it's like, is this me? Is this someone else? Like there's just this kind of playing with what is this, right? And I have to say, Denai, you created such a safe space where we all felt so comfortable being vulnerable, being, the beginners, the newbies, and you encouraged us, you empowered us, you made it fun, you made it, you made it where we just wanted to continue, right? And it's almost like you got that started and then it was like it took off rapid fire, right? It's like you just kind of helped with that initial encouragement and then it was like boom, like, and you made it fun, like Natasha, channel your car, channel your cat, like I didn't even know like these things could even be channeled, right? And so I have to say that your creativity in that, but also the safe space that you created for us was paramount.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's beautiful. For me as well, safety is huge, for anything in life. If I don't feel safe, then I'm not growing, I'm not expanding. And it was the same way when I was teaching. When I was teaching in academia, my first rule across all courses was safety. Physical safety for the most part is a given for everybody. But for me, it was mental and emotional safety and psychological safety. And it's just the idea that nothing that you do when I'm teaching you anything, when I'm interacting with you, nothing that you do is going to be deemed as silly or stupid or any one of those things, because for me, putting yourself out there, especially with channeling, especially with like personal growth and transformation, that's huge. And to be able to create an environment where people feel safe to try things out, even though they're hesitant, like to me, that is the best gift that you've all given me, is trusting me. And I'm honored. You all know this. The vulnerability doesn't just lie with you in the course. You all saw my vulnerability as I was moving through the course, because I have my own reservations in my persona, in my human experience. So I understand that just because I connect as a channel doesn't mean I know it all. If anything, I have more questions. So it opens up this whole experience for me that just says, if I need to feel safe to learn, so does everybody else. So that is huge for me. And I go above and beyond to ensure safety in anything that I offer anybody, because I want people to feel loved. I want people to feel safe. That's huge. So putting it out there, what sort of breakthroughs did people notice as you continued with your channeling? Can you think of a particular moment, a specific moment where things kind of just locked in for you, if anything popped up? It's interesting to note that we don't pay attention to some of these experiences as we're going through them. So I know that the answer may not come quickly to you. And, these are important ways to assess how you've grown, is when you can identify these points that made a contribution. And it could be something small. So if anybody has something to share, by all means, I'm open to hear.
I do. I can remember early on, channeling and really questioning, where is this coming from? Is this coming from my head? Is it me? Am I just repeating things that I've heard? Because it does sound really familiar. And I remember going to directly to source within me and asking that question and really getting the answer of, how does this feel? Because if the message you're getting feels good, it it's from source. It's if it's feeling loving, it's from source. And that just really helped me in getting confidence even more in what was coming through me. And it allowed me to relax and let it come through me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I remember when we were doing our one-to-one exchange, or one of our conversations, it may have been like, because everybody in the course gets a bonus session with me one-to-one. And it might have been during that or our exchange, Joyce, but I remember you saying, I'm happy with automatic writing, and I'm happy with receiving channeling. And I noticed that when I verbal channel, I feel this energy. And what we decided to do was actually just do an energetic transmission with no words. And I thought, Joyce is going to have fun with this. And I got really skeptical about it, because if I'm not talking, my mind has full reign about how she gets involved. And I love that Joyce was on board. We sat in silence and we just did an energetic transmission channel. And she said that she had the most profound experience during this. that it was a lot of fun to see. And that's what I love about this experience of having it be a smaller program for people, is that I can spend some one-on-one time with each of the people involved and really hone in to where they're going to get the most growth. And it's amazing. I remember telling Natasha before the course started, and I don't know if this has evolved for her yet, but that she's going to have a greater connection with food and her sensation of food around the body. And I don't know if anything's evolved from that. Natasha, did you want to share?
Yeah, I would say that when I taste, I'm more present with taste. And maybe I don't necessarily eat food for food anymore. It's more like, oh, I want to know what it tastes like, right? So that was fun to play with.
Yeah. So it's wonderful to see that your evolution, and just as we started the conversation here, I heard Natasha's gift is expanding. And it makes me laugh because while I'm holding a group conversation like this, I'm going to get individual messages, and it's very entertaining for the small group that I work with. I know that Danielle eats it up. She goes, "What's for me?" And so it's really entertaining when that pops up for, it's because I've opened myself up to tune in. So this is the intuitive aspect of what I offer when I work with people, intuitive coaching. When somebody joins a channel course with me, like the Learn to Channel or Remembering Your Connection is what it's called, when someone joins that, they get me and they get time with the channel. So I tell you from my human perspective how the evolution has occurred, any insecurities I have. I share my vulnerabilities around channeling. I put myself out there and channel in ways that I'm not comfortable channeling. I know one of the things that I've done across all the courses was channel, and while spontaneously channeling, sharing my my thoughts at the same time. So it was a back and forth for people to see that while I channel, I'm not always quiet. I have my resistance around it. And I think it's important for people to realize that quieting the mind is important, but sometimes the mind has something to offer how the channel goes in flavor. Because what I'm thinking, somebody else is likely thinking. So then the channel will address my thoughts out loud, and then it answers everybody else's question. So you kind of get to see that through my perspective, what's happening, but then I bring in the channel through some of the calls for people to then talk to and interact with the channel. And this group was spectacular because everyone did a group channel for everyone in the group. And it was amazing to see. Natasha's excellent with rhyming when she channels. I love that. It's very playful. There's a lot of messaging around playfulness and fun and love, and Danielle and Natasha are definitely in the fun realms with channeling, and they like to spice it up. Joyce and Connie and the others who were in the group, they're very much about love and love yourself and stop doubting. They'll bring in messaging for me, which is hilarious, because they'll be like, it's time to do this. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I hear it from my channel too. So it's been interesting to see. Somebody mentioned earlier on how channeling, like specifically this course and opening up your channeling, has changed not just your ability to channel, but also aspects of your life. So I'm curious if anybody wants to share how their life has changed as a result of the channeling. So Natasha, I saw you pop off mute first.
Yeah. So in my practice, in my business, I guess you could say, this has opened me up. So I wanted to expand kind of to the next level with my connection with source and the messages that I share for my clients. And this has done exactly that. For example, the other day, I got a message that I needed to share with someone that they needed to eat more seaweed, right? They were low in iodine, and it came through. They need to eat more seaweed. And so before this course, I don't know if I would have either received that kind of message or been open to it or accepted it or wanted to share it. So it has definitely opened me up in the way that I can serve my clients.
Yeah, and I knew that as soon as you came to me and said, I'm interested in channeling, I was like, you have no idea how you're going to expand. And it's growing, Natasha. They keep saying it's growing. So open up and receive. I love that for you.
Yay, thank you.
Connie.
I think the big change for me, and I don't know when during the course, but I know that I had some, my mom passed away right after the course, before a bonus one. And what really changed for me was, I know I was always told who and what I am, but it was always in my head. Somehow in the channeling, it moved from my head into me truly experiencing who I am, if that makes sense. So it became me a knowing and actually experience it versus it just being in my head and something that I knew. So it was cool. And the first one of really was to remind myself, I know who I am now. I now know who I am. And that has changed so much, so many different scenarios that I've been in, so many different ones I would hear, and the difference, it kind of let me off the hook, or what you say, for like old things too. Like I would see in my past, it would come up and it'd go, but you didn't know who you were, and now you do. And so it really, that's why I say it's life changing, because it not only changes the now and where I am to know who I am, but it lets me understand why things happened in the past and what they did. And even as I look at other people, I'm like, oh, they're not realizing who they are yet. So it's also given me a compassion for other people that, I don't know. And you said it is about love. I just want to love everybody and say, oh, you need to figure out who you are. If you just knew who you were, it's just changed my life so much. And it definitely started, I don't know when during the channeling course, but somewhere in there, it moved from me in my head knowing to me truly knowing who I am. And so that was great. And you keep saying, you don't know why I keep saying it's life changing, but that truly did change so much about my life, and it changed everything. The realizing, truly knowing, not just in your head, but truly knowing who you are.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I do want to highlight though, because there's a change, and I'm not going to take credit for this by all means, because it's all you and loving yourself. But you had some bodily changes happen as well.
Did I did and I still do, as I started going through the channeling course, and it was like releasing the old things. And I knew in my head I was releasing the old things, and even like physical things. I was like, oh, I don't need that anymore. And I don't need that anymore. And then I realized it's like my clothes are fitting a little bit differently. And I ended up, and I still am releasing, but I was down almost 30 pounds by the end of the one. My body just was like, I know who we are. We don't have to hold on to that, and we can release it. And I remember calling you and going, I think something's wrong, because I was holding on to all these old things in my house, and like old pictures, old things that I just couldn't let them go. And it's like, at, during the course, I was like, I just threw away a whole bunch of stuff. What is like, and you were like, you were looking for the love from the outside, and now you have it inside, so you don't need to hold on to all those things anymore. So I cleaned up my house when we were moving and just released all the things, and it made me feel even lighter. So yeah, that's a huge part, and it's still going. But yeah, it started during that part as well. You're right. Forgot about that part. Yeah.
No, that's been pivotal. And I
Oh, it's
mean,
been huge.
both Sheila and I have noticed that in you like tremendously. And I love that you brought up like the energetic clutter of things, because we carry a lot of clutter. And
Mm-hmm.
sneak peek, at some point Sheila and I will do a course around this energetic clutter stuff. But
Yeah.
the the channeling aspect, and I've heard this across many channels and experienced it for myself, the change isn't just in the skill development. It really just comes back to loving yourself, and as a result, everything changes. And I happen to be going through a difficult period in my life while doing this course, and it kept me stable to know that I had this this responsibility, but this the privilege of connecting with each of you and saying, like, you all knew that my life is challenging at that point, and you all provided me with wonderful compassion and messages. And that's the thing, you get to help others. You, like, I know people when they say, I don't channel, what do I offer? You offer love, a loving message coming from the heart saying I love you. To me, that's channeling. When you feel it in the deepest profound way, this, because I love greatly, I don't know how not to love. And when I say it to somebody, like, you're getting the energetic transmission, you're getting the whole thing. I joke with people and tell them I'm just a giant heart with arms and legs. And somebody actually found a GIF with that. It just made me laugh. I want to comment here that we've got a comment in the chat here from Paula. Thank you, Paula. She said, great conversation with you, Denai, and all the other channels. Notice how she said all the other channels, because you are. So many questions people could have were addressed. What a wonderful service you are providing. Thanks so much, Paula. I love that, because to me, you aren't students. You were never students. You were just living in an amnesic world, which, ta-da, we're all doing. And you popped in and said, I don't remember that I channel. And I said, let me remind you. Roll out the carpet for you to go, I remember, because you are a channel. And anybody who's attracted to channeled messages, you're transmitting through the individual and who you're listening to. But when you channel for yourself, there's no telephone. You're getting it direct. You're dealing with your own biases and your own, like, no, I'm making that up. And that's perfect. That's part of the journey. But you're getting it dead on. And I want people, like, my goal is for everybody to be able to tune in to their higher wisdom, to their inner wisdom. That's most important for me. And if I can assist, I am happy. And if I don't resonate, that's great. Finding a way to tune in and love yourself is key. And I think that's important. So it feels so good to me to know that each of you came in believing, and I mean, Sheila's the exception here because Sheila's been channeling beyond prior to all of this. But each of you came in thinking, I don't channel, I don't know how to channel. And I was like, just wait. And I love the messaging that you would all receive, because you would all be sitting there going, you're loved, you're taken care of, we support you. And you're like, especially Danielle, blah, 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 where's the juicy stuff? And now Danielle's getting all the juicy channels and sharing it with everyone, and she's tuning in and getting a blast out of that. So it's so good for me to see that. Well, I'm going to ask each of you whether you just want to nod your head or, raise your hand in a sense to indicate in favor of the statement. Do each of you see yourselves as channels now? Yeah. Because you are. And I love that Paula put that in there to say, like, and the other channels, because you are. And you're also skilled. I have gained something from each of you in the messaging you have given me. And the others who couldn't be on this call have just channeled profound information to me. And it's been really helpful. You are gaining tools by being able to do this, and it's absolutely spectacular. So out of curiosity, I'm gonna ask if any of you have thoughts of who would be attracted to joining me for this type of course. Like, who do you think would want this? What are your thoughts?
Anyone who wants a greater connection to source.
So the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to sum it up. Does anybody else have anything else to say? I think Joyce just mic dropped. Thank you, Joyce. Danielle?
Certainly, and this certainly is under the umbrella of Joyce, but just having that deeper knowing of yourself, and we've spoken of the self-confidence that this has given us, and my self-confidence has gone through the roof also, and so anyone who just, whether it's you want to add something to your toolbox because you're in this realm of energy work, or maybe you're a school teacher and you want to be able to tune into your kids better, whatever it might be, this is not only a spectacular tool for your toolbox, but it enriches your life in ways that right now you probably can't even conceive of.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I think, is so important for people to know, is the change isn't always at the forefront. You have the surface, and the surface is like form. People are like, oh, I want to manifest this. And it's like, we don't see what's happening behind the scenes, below the surface. We don't know what's coming. And for me, it's about connection. This course has always been about connection, but it's a connection and a love for you, which is paramount. This is something that I'm still learning, and I think I'll be learning for the rest of my life, but not in a sense of I don't love myself. It's more in a sense of I have the potential to love myself more and more each day, and channeling has been a huge step in that, because it gives me the different perspective. It isn't just about the skill, it's a shift in perspective, and you can get that in a variety of ways. But if you're excited about channeling, get excited and do it. Explore it. Natasha.
Yeah, so I just thought of an ideal person who might want to entertain the idea of doing this course is someone who is always seeking advice of others. Like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? They're always seeking from outside of themselves. And this is a great way to access your own inner wisdom, right? And like your own inner guidance and how you want to move forward in life.
That's beautiful. And yeah, the person who likes to get the surveyor. I'm definitely somebody who likes to survey people. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? And it's like, okay, let's survey the energetics. What do the energetics have to say? That's beautiful. I love that, Natasha. Sheila, you wanted to add something.
I wanted to add to what you had actually talked about with the connection, although I agree 100% with Natasha. It feels so good to know that you don't have to do the survey all the time if you choose to tune in first. But what I've noticed for myself is having the greater awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. And Natasha, spoke about how you challenge her, like channel her car. And I love tuning in to all kinds of things and just treating it as an entity, like treating it as something that might have an opinion or a conscious thought. Like I play with street light, like traffic lights all the time, and create a relationship with them so that they flow the way that I want them to go, and parking spaces and the vehicle that I'm in. And that part is fun, but I also work a lot with animals, and it's shifted my relationship with the animals because now I'm open to the idea that we're all connected and I can tune in and communicate in a deeper level with them, and whether it's creating a sense of safety for them or just I love you, and having that, it feels deeper, it feels more satisfying, and it's definitely more fun. But we've had great conversations and all kinds of calls about talking to your business and what's the relationship with your business and what's your relationship with money. And that doesn't necessarily fall into the channeling aspect, but I do think it's completely in line with realizing we are all connected and we can tune in to objects and personify it and have that conversation and find a place that feels completely different from where you started, which is that new perspective you were talking about.
100%. And to me, channeling exists in all forms, and I think it's so valuable to see it as a mindset thing, to see it as a perspective shift, because prior to that, we're looking at it as something separate from us, a skill that is unattainable. And I don't know, if you've met an animal, you've channeled love, because animals have a way of opening your heart that there's no way you're not connected to source. Like, I've got a little one here who's stolen my heart in like a few days. And it's amazing. Opening yourself to love is what channeling is. That's the connection. You're connecting to love. Natasha.
Yeah, I love that Sheila brought that up, because I feel like channeling is what's hot right now. Like, this is the evolution of consciousness. Like, this is what's going on, right? And like, yes, maybe we're pioneers in this, but we're really not, because everyone is going to be channeling before we know it.
100%. There's like, it's just the evolution of it, and it's already in the lingo, because people are like, oh, I was baking this cake and I channeled my grandma. And it's like, yeah, you did. but you don't see it that way, right? So it's so incredible to me that when I started doing this more consciously, how much it's expanded and how people are talking about it, that I'll be at a restaurant and people will, like, the waitress or the waiter will give me an indication that they're somewhat familiar with stuff. And I go, do you know channeling? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, that's what I do. So it's, there are people in my life who don't know that I do this. And there are perfect strangers who know, because it is just the alignment of things. And you're connecting to the greatest gift that you can give yourself, and that you can give all of humanity, which is love. That's there are no words to that. We're getting close to the hour. I want to make sure I can talk about this for hours on end. This is why I created a course. So if you want to hear me talk about channeling more, if you are curious about the course, I will drop the information in the description of the video, but you can also see my website there, so that you can check that out. It is on my website. But if anybody wants to have a conversation with me around channeling, for sure, connect with me. I have a discovery call that people can book with me to talk about it. But I am starting my channeling course in October 1st. So 11 days, 10 days, 11 days from now. The countdown is on. And if this is lighting you up, like, come chat with me. And I guarantee you, I'm going to offer up Danielle and anybody else who's interested. But Danielle is eager to talk to anybody who wants to hear firsthand about the experience. And Danielle, along with Sheila, have been across all 3 of my channel courses. So they're superstars. But I know Danielle's already offered that if anybody wants to connect with her, to reach out. She's what is it? Jubilant? Pink giddy with pink glee. I don't know what she says. Danielle, tell them what you want to say.
I would be tickled pink to chat with
That's
you
it.
about anything that you want to know. And yeah, and I just wanted to add, Denai's latest course, or last course, was throughout the month of May. And I have shared with the participants that never in my life have I had day after day after day after day after day of jubilance, of feeling so great. And gee, what would be the contributing factor to that? Yeah, her course.
You're too kind. You're too kind. Yeah. So if you could, and I'll do this very quickly, and I know Connie had something preoccupy her attention, so I'm sure that if anybody wants to reach out, she's happy to talk. Oh, I want to mention a comment in here that just popped in. Francis says, "This is extremely profound. I am honored to listen to each of you and your profundity and extreme inspiration. So much love, truth, and integrity. Thank you." See, just this conversation alone is having an impact on people. And I was so excited that, the idea came through to me to talk about channeling in the course because I'm so passionate about doing this. Like, I'll talk about channeling for hours on end. And she adds a PS and pure joy in caps. Francis and Danielle, you guys need to talk because the jubilance, the tickled pink, and Francis is a sweetheart. Shout out to Francis. You're a beautiful soul. I was going to say really quickly, if you could summarize, and I wasn't anticipating any of this, but it's coming through. If you could summarize in one word, you only get one word, something around the course, what's the one word that you would come up with? And I have mine, but I'm not going to say it because I think everybody else has the same word. So go ahead and unmute and take your turn in saying the one word.
What came to me first was expansion.
That's beautiful. I love that. Who else?
Connection.
Da da da. Anybody else get another word?
Transformational.
Wow, that's a good one, Sheila. Thank you. And Danielle?
For sure. Well, Dana, I think that I won't use the one that I think you're going to use, but I will use the one that I love so much, jubilance.
Jubilance. My word is love. So that's not a surprise. And let's see, we're gonna tune in. Danielle, I'm gonna get you to tune into Connie's energy and say her one word. Yeah, there it is.
It's hyphenated. It's life-changing.
Life-changing. Yeah, that's what I got too. So, that's beautiful. You can channel each other. You can channel anything that has consciousness, which is everything in existence. You can channel your heart. You can channel your soul. You can channel life. I channel experiences. I channel anything that I feel a connection to. You have the opportunity here, whether it's with me or with yourself. If channeling at all appeals to you, go for it. And I'm here to support if I feel aligned for you. But you can do it with just you too. So I'm happy to guide anyone who feels called to me. And I'm happy to support anyone who feels called in other directions, because it's not who you're called to, because we're all one. You're called to love and reconnecting and remembering just how incredible you are as a human being. And yes, I'm talking to you there who doesn't believe it. So, because I know what that's like. So if you're interested, check out the info. I will include anyone of this grouping who's interested in being connected with. I will include their information as well. And just, jump in to channeling and jump in with me or jump in with the experience. This is my invitation to you all. Treat yourself to the love that you deserve. So thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Connie, Joyce. And thank you so much, Sheila Williams, for all the wonderful support you do on these calls for me. You all have changed my life in a variety of ways. And I cannot thank you enough. And I look forward to connecting with whoever feels called to work with me. Because I know we can make a difference together. So thank you so much. I'm going to figure out how to stealthily end this live stream because Zoom has changed how it does things. But there it is. I figured it out. So thank you so much.